Hello and welcome back to Anywhere But Here. Today we're headed south to the Peach State and taking a look at the 10 worst cities in Georgia. As always, we evaluated crime, poverty, education, per capita income, and overall quality of life to come up with our list. Like many states in the southeast, Georgia suffers from wide income disparity and lots of poverty. On the bright side, the crime rate in Georgia is slightly better than average when compared to the rest of the United States, so cities with high crime rates really stand out. Let's get started. Number 10. Brunswick. Located in southeast Georgia in Glenn County sits the town of Brunswick, Georgia. Just over 16,000 people live in Brunswick proper, but the overall metropolitan area is home to well over 100,000 people. The economy in Brunswick revolves around the Port of Brunswick, which is one of the most productive ports on the East Coast. Per capita income is $21,199, which is considered middle income for the state of Georgia, but still, almost 35% of Brunswick residents live below the poverty line. As with many port cities, the crime rate is a little high here, with residents more than 3 times as likely to be the victim of a violent crime in Brunswick than the Georgia average. And 1 in 20 people here will be the victim of a property crime. On the bright side, Brunswick has the best schools on this list, ranking 141 out of 355 cities. Number 9. Swainsboro. The crossroads of the Great South, Swainsboro, is home to just over 7,500 people. Per capita income in Swainsboro is the lowest of any town on our list at $14,513, and over 32% of its residents live at or below the poverty line. Schools in Swainsboro are not great, ranking 255 out of 355. Crime rates in Swainsboro are higher than the Georgia averages, with residents twice as likely to be the victim of a violent crime, and 1 in 23 will be the victim of a property crime. And speaking of crime, in July 2021, Swainsboro's fire chief was arrested for suspicion of DUI following a traffic accident at 3 p.m. on a Sunday. And in May 2021, Swainsboro lost one of its big weekend activities when one of its residents pled guilty to running a cockfighting ring in a barn on his property every other Saturday. But it's not all bad in Swainsboro. In February 2021, a Swainsboro man caught a 2-pound, 3-ounce hickory shad in the Ogeechee River, breaking a 25-year-old record. Number 8. Griffin. Just outside of Atlanta, over 22,000 people live in Griffin, Georgia. Its per capita income of $22,049 sits near the top of the 10 cities on our list, and its poverty rate of 23.2% is the second lowest. The crime index in Griffin is a 3, meaning it is only safer than 3% of all cities in the United States. The violent crime rate is 3 times the national median and almost 4 times the Georgia average. The national median is 28 crimes per square mile. In Griffin, there are 91 crimes per square mile. One of the main reasons Griffin makes our list is its schools. They are not good, ranking 315 out of 355. But with all this said, apparently there are a lot of golf courses near Griffin, so there is that. Number 7. College Park. Located in the Atlanta metro area and spanning both Fulton and Clayton counties, College Park is home to over 15,000 Georgians. From 2000 to 2010, College Park saw its population decline by over 30%. Most city officials attribute this to either noise from Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport or expansion of the airport that partially resides in College Park. In fact, the impact of the airport on College Park could be an entire video on its own. Anyway, per capita income is $24,809, and 29.5% of College Park residents live in poverty. Apparently, College Park's largest employer, Chick-fil-A, doesn't pay that great. Schools in College Park are pretty bad, ranking 284 out of 355. But the real problem in College Park is crime. With a crime index of 1, it ranks among the worst 1% of cities in the entire United States. The violent crime rate in 2019 was nearly 3 times higher than the Georgia average and included 6 murders. Property crimes are very common in College Park, with residents having a 1 in 15 chance of being a victim. Number 6. Albany. With a population of 72,130, Albany is the 8th largest city in Georgia. Located in southwest Georgia, per capita income in Albany is $20,313, which is middle income for Georgia, but even still, over 30% of Albany residents live at or below the poverty line. Schools in Albany are pretty terrible, ranking 322 out of 355. Like most of the cities on our list, crime is a problem in Albany. The crime index is 2, so 98% of cities in the United States are safer than Albany. The violent crime rate is actually not as bad as most cities on our list. It's the specific crimes that make Albany really unsafe. In 2019, there were 12 murders in Albany, and believe it or not, this is an improvement. In the late 1980s, Albany was known as the murder capital of America because it had the highest murder rate per capita in the entire United States. Before we get to number 5, I want to remind you to take a second to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos, and also hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when new videos are released. Number 5. East Point. Located just outside of Atlanta in Fulton County, East Point is home to nearly 35,000 people. Year after year, East Point is named the most dangerous city in Georgia, and that hasn't changed. The crime index is 0, meaning it is at the very bottom of safe cities in the United States. 1 in 76 residents will be the victim of a violent crime, and 1 in 9 will be the victim of a property crime. As recently as 2017, East Point had the second highest property crime rate in the nation, 5 times the national average. Not surprisingly, East Point schools are terrible, ranking 323 out of 355. But believe it or not, there are 3 cities on this list whose schools are even worse. It's not all bad news in East Point. Even though the poverty rate is high at 30.8%, per capita income is the highest of all the cities on this list at $25,434. Go figure. Although that's probably why so much stuff is getting stolen here. Number 4. Forest Park. 9 miles south of Atlanta is the city of Forest Park. Just over 20,000 people live in Forest Park, and as you can probably guess by how high they are on the list, they go to terrible schools and they don't make much money. Schools in Forest Park are awful. They rank 336 out of 355. Although there are only 2 cities with lower poverty rates than Forest Park on our list, it is still 26.2%, so 1 in 4 residents live in poverty. Per capita income is only $16,171, which is low income even in Georgia, and the 3rd lowest on our list of cities. Crime isn't as much of a problem in Forest Park as the other cities on this list, but the crime index is still low at 4, meaning less safe than 96% of cities in the US. The violent crime and property crime rates are only about 2 times higher than the Georgia averages, and only 1 in 22 people will likely have something stolen from them in Forest Park. Number 3. Clarkston. Over the last 10 years, the population of Clarkston, Georgia has grown to almost 13,000 people, nearly double what it was in 2010. Known for its ethnic diversity, Clarkston is often called the most diverse square mile in America. At one point, students at Clarkston High School represented over 50 different countries. Unfortunately, the schools in Clarkston are terrible, ranking 341 out of 355 cities in Georgia. Per capita income in Clarkston is only $15,310, which places it as the second lowest of all the cities on our list. 31% of Clarkston residents live at or below the poverty line. The one thing Clarkston has going for it are the lowest crime rates of all the cities on our list. However, lowest on this list doesn't mean the crime rates are low. The crime index is 10, meaning it is less safe than 90% of US cities. In 2019, there were 4 murders, but only 2 reported rapes. The violent crime rate is not quite twice as high as the Georgia average, and the property crime rate is only slightly higher than the Georgia average. Number 2. Camilla. Located in southwest Georgia, the small town of Camilla, Georgia is home to 5,012 people. Most known for the 1868 Camilla Massacre, low income, high poverty, and terrible schools make Camilla a less than desirable place to live. Per capita income in Camilla is $17,343, which is considered low income even for Georgia. 39.6% of Camilla's residents live at or below the poverty line. And out of 355 cities in Georgia, Camilla's schools rank 342, the worst schools on our list. The crime index in Camilla is a 9, so it's one of the safer cities on our list, but even still, 1 in 3 Camilla residents will be the victim of a property crime. If all of this wasn't enough to tell you how terrible Camilla is, go to TripAdvisor and search for things to do in Camilla, Georgia. The page is blank. Before we get to number 1, let's take a look at our dishonorable mentions. 5 cities that were close but didn't quite make the cut. Valdosta, Macon, Sylvester, Monroe, and Morrow. Congratulations. Better luck next time. Number 1 on our list of the worst cities in Georgia is the gateway to southern Georgia, Cordell. Cordell calls itself the watermelon capital of the world. I guess that's better than calling itself the poverty capital of Georgia, which it is. A whopping 50.7% of Cordell's residents live at or below the poverty line, making it by far the most impoverished city on our list. Cordell's population is 10,521, so that means that more than 5,000 of its residents live in poverty. Per capita income is $16,746, which is near the bottom of the cities we've listed and is definitely low income for both the United States and Georgia. Unemployment in Crisp County is currently around 8%, which is more than double the rate of the entire state of Georgia. The crime index in Cordell is 3, meaning it's less safe than 97% of U.S. cities. Cordell residents have a 1 in 21 chance of being the victim of a property crime, which is double the Georgia average. And the violent crime rate is not quite double the Georgia average. Surprisingly, the schools in Cordell are some of the best out of all the cities on our list. However, that is misleading because Cordell schools rank 290 out of 355 Georgia cities. So good for this list, but incredibly horrible in general. I want to thank you for watching and ask you to take a second to subscribe to our channel and leave us a comment. Did we leave out a city you think should be on the list? Or is there a city that you don't think deserves to be here? Let us know. Until next time, have fun.